I always believed my life made sense because Mason was in it. Even before I understood what friendship meant, he was beside me, loud, reckless, annoying, but loyal in a way that made me think he was family. I used to joke, "You're basically my brother," and he always answered with that grin of his. "Of course I am," he would say. "You're stuck with me forever." That morning started like any other. We were walking to campus together, and he nudged my shoulder. "You look tired," he said. "I was up late studying." "For what?" "You'll ace the test anyway. You always do. You could study too, you know." He laughed. "Nah. I have you." I rolled my eyes, but I smiled. This was normal, our rhythm. When we reached the courtyard, Lily was waiting for me. She smiled when she saw me. "You're late," she teased. "Mason walks like an old man," I said. Mason scoffed. "I'm the athletic one here. Don't blame me." Lily giggled, and I felt that familiar warmth. She was the soft part of my life, the calm I didn't know I needed until I met her. I took her hand, and Mason watched us with a strange expression before he forced a laugh. "So," he said, "you two doing something tonight?" "Yeah," Lily replied. "Movie at my place." He raised an eyebrow. "And I'm not invited." "You hate romance movies," I said. "Still," he mumbled, "you could ask." I thought he was joking, but something in his tone made me pause. "You okay?" I asked. He shrugged. "Fine. Just asking." Lily squeezed my hand. "Come on, Ethan. Don't overthink." But I did. Just a little. Later, at lunch, Mason dropped another strange comment. "So, Lily looked really good today," he said. I laughed. "She always looks good." "Yeah, but today she stood out." "Why are you telling me that?" "No reason," he replied, but his eyes didn't match his voice. I tried to ignore the tightness forming in my chest. After class, Lily asked, "Was Mason acting weird, or is it just me?" "You felt it too." "Maybe I'm imagining." "No," I said. "Something's off." But when I asked Mason about it, he waved me off. "You're paranoid," he said. "Relax." We ended up at our usual spot near the fountain. He tossed a pebble into the water and sighed. "You know," he said, "sometimes I feel like you don't need me anymore." "What? That's not true." "You have Lily. You have your grades. You have everything figured out." I frowned. "And you think that means you don't matter?" He hesitated. "Sometimes." It was the first time I ever heard him sound small. I told him, "You're my best friend. That hasn't changed." He nodded, but the tension didn't disappear. That night, Lily and I watched a movie at her place. We talked about nothing and everything. She fell asleep on my shoulder, and the world felt simple again. But when I got home, Mason wasn't there, even though he said he would be studying. When he finally walked in, I asked, "Where were you?" "Out," he answered. "Out where?" "Just out." "You said you'd study tonight." "Plans changed." I stared at him. "Are you okay?" He forced a laugh. "Why wouldn't I be?" "I don't know. You're acting different." "You're imagining things," he said sharply. I stepped back. "I'm not attacking you." He ran a hand through his hair. "Look, I just needed some air, okay? Can we drop it?" "Yeah," I whispered. "Sure." He walked past me, but not before muttering, "You don't have to check up on me like I'm a child." Something inside me twisted. Why did he sound angry? Why did he feel distant? Why did he lie about something so small? I tried to sleep, but the thought wouldn't leave me. Mason never lied to me before. Not once. Not about anything. When morning came, I confronted him again. "You disappeared last night. Just tell me where you were." He stared at me for a long second. "I told you. I was out." "Mason." "Drop it, Ethan," he snapped. The sharpness in his voice cut deeper than I expected. I didn't know why, but a cold, uneasy feeling crawled up my spine. It was the first time I ever felt afraid of losing him, and the first time I wondered if I ever truly knew him at all. It was also the first lie that made my chest hurt. Not because of what he hid, but because I could feel something breaking before I even knew what it was. I noticed the distance before either of them admitted anything. It started with small things, missed calls, short replies, strange excuses, but I kept telling myself, they're just stressed. I tried to believe it. When I met Lily outside the lecture hall, she barely looked at me. "Hey," I said, touching her arm. She pulled back a little. "Sorry. I'm late for something." "For what?" "Just a project meeting." "You didn't tell me about it." "I forgot," she muttered. "I have a lot on my mind." I stared at her. Did I do something? "No," she answered too quickly. "I'm just tired." Before I could say anything else, she walked away. Her coldness stung, but I tried to brush it off. People have off days. That's what I told myself. Later, when I found Mason by the lockers, he didn't even look up. "Dude," I said, "you good?" He shut his notebook harder than necessary. "Fine." "You don't look fine." "Since when do you analyze my face?" he snapped. His tone made me flinch. "I'm just asking." "Well, don't," he muttered. "I'm not in the mood." I waited for him to apologize, or at least soften, but he didn't. He just walked away like I wasn't worth a second glance. For a while, I just stood there, trying to swallow the tightness in my throat. Maybe he's stressed too, I told myself. Maybe it's midterms. Maybe it's nothing. But a part of me knew it wasn't nothing. After class, I sat alone on a bench, trying to make sense of everything. That's when I heard a voice beside me. "You look like you're about to explode." I turned to see a girl I recognized from another course, Grace. She leaned on the bench, studying my face like she already knew the answer. "I'm fine," I said. "You're not," she replied. "Your eyes are doing that shaking thing people get when they're pretending." I blinked. I didn't know eyes could shake. "They do," she said, "especially when someone feels like they're losing something important." Her words hit me harder than I expected. "Why would you say that?" "Because I've been there," she said softly. "And you look exactly like I did." I forced a laugh. "I'm not losing anything." "Sure," she murmured, raising an eyebrow. "If you say so." She stood up and slung her bag over her shoulder. "Just take care of yourself, Ethan. Something's weighing on you, and you don't have to pretend it's not." As she walked away, her voice kept echoing in my mind, losing something important. It dug in deeper than it should have. When classes ended, I texted Lily. No reply. I texted Mason too. Nothing. By the time I reached the apartment, my nerves were already tangled. But when I opened the door, Mason was in the kitchen chopping vegetables like he was auditioning for a cooking show. "Hey," he said too brightly. "I'm making dinner." I froze. "You cook?" "Why not?" Thought I'd be nice. The forced cheerfulness made my stomach twist. "Okay, what's going on?" "Nothing's going on," he said. "Can't I do something good without being interrogated?" "I'm not interrogating you. I'm just confused." "You're always confused lately." I sighed. "Mason, talk to me." "There's nothing to talk about," he insisted, chopping faster. The knife hit the cutting board like he was trying to kill it. "You've been cold all week," I said. "You've been snapping at everything. And Lily." "What about Lily?" he cut in sharply. "She's been acting weird too." "So, maybe she's tired." "You said the same about yourself." "Because it's true," he said, but his voice cracked. I stepped closer. "Look at me." He didn't. "Mason," I said again, "look at me." He finally turned, but his eyes looked tense, almost guilty. "What's going on with you?" I asked. He swallowed. "Nothing. Just life stuff." "Why won't you tell me?" "Because you wouldn't understand. I'm your best friend. Try me." "You're not my therapist," he snapped. That hurt more than it should have. I never said I was. "Then stop acting like you know everything." I stared at him, feeling something inside me sink. "Why are you being like this?" "I'm not being anything," he said, forcing a smile. "Come on." Let's eat. I made enough for both of us. The sudden shift felt wrong. Too quick. Too fake. When we sat down, he kept the smile plastered on his face, asking questions he never asked before. How was class? Did you eat lunch? Did you sleep well last night? Each question made the uneasiness inside me grow deeper. At one point, I put my fork down. Mason, why are you acting so nice suddenly? He froze. Can't I be nice? Not like this. Not when you've been cold all week. He gave a short laugh. You overthink too much. I wanted to believe him. I really did. But the cracks were widening, and no matter how much I tried to ignore them, the truth was slipping through. Something was breaking. And for the first time, I felt afraid that I wouldn't be able to fix it. When Lily cancelled our date, something inside me twisted. She texted, "Sorry, Ethan. I'm not feeling well. Maybe another day." I stared at the message, my chest tightening. I typed, "Do you need anything?" She replied with just, "No." The shortness hurt more than it should have. I tried to shake it off, but my mind kept circling. What if she's with someone? What if it's just stress? What if I'm imagining things? Still, my legs moved on their own. Before I knew it, I was walking toward Mason's apartment. I kept whispering to myself, "I'm just checking. I'm not accusing. I just want to make sure she's okay." But my heart didn't believe me. It pounded harder with every step. When I reached the door, I heard something that froze me. A soft sob. Lily's voice. My breath caught in my throat. No, maybe I'm wrong," I whispered. But then I heard Mason's voice. Low, close, comforting. "It's okay," he whispered. "Please stop crying. He won't find out." My stomach dropped. My hand shook as I reached for the door. I didn't even think. I just pushed. The door swung open, and the world shattered. Lily jerked upright on a couch, tears streaking her face. Mason shot to his feet, his eyes wide like he'd seen a ghost. I felt everything at once, pain, disbelief, nausea, anger, like all of it crashed together inside my chest. "What?" I gasped. "What is this?" Lily covered her mouth. "Ethan, wait, please." Mason stepped forward. "Just listen." "No," I said, stepping back. No. Tell me I'm wrong. Please tell me I'm wrong." Lily stood, shaking. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. "Like what?" I yelled, my voice cracking. "Like me walking in? Like me finding you two together? Like me losing both of you on the same night?" Mason raised his hands. "It's not what you think." I laughed, a broken sound. "Really? Then explain it. Explain why she's crying in your apartment. Explain why you're telling her I won't find out." He swallowed hard. "Ethan, I didn't mean to hurt you." "Then what did you mean to do?" I asked. "Comfort my girlfriend behind my back." Lily stepped closer, her voice trembling. "I didn't want you to find out like this. I swear I didn't." "Then how?" I asked. "When? After how long? How many times have you two?" She sobbed. "Don't say it like that." "How else am I supposed to say it?" I shot back. "How else am I supposed to breathe right now?" My hands were shaking so hard I had to grip the doorframe to stay upright. Mason tried to touch my shoulder. "Ethan, please." I jerked away from him. "Don't touch me." "I never wanted you to get hurt," he whispered. "Then you shouldn't have been the one to stab me." He flinched like I hit him. Lily wiped her tears. "It wasn't planned. We were confused. It just happened." "So that makes it okay?" I asked. "No," she whispered, shaking her head. "But you have to understand." "I don't," I said. "I don't understand anything anymore." Mason ran a hand through his hair. "We were going to tell you." "When?" I demanded. "Before or after you replaced me completely?" His silence told me everything. "You were my brother," I said quietly. "My actual brother in my heart. And you." My voice broke, and I had to look away. Lily stepped closer again. "Ethan, Please listen. I never wanted to hurt you. I still care about you. Stop, I said, raising a hand. Please don't say you care. Not right now. Mason tried again. It was a mistake. No, I said. A mistake is forgetting a birthday. A mistake is an argument. This is a choice. Both of you chose this. My chest felt like it was collapsing. All the nights we trusted each other. All the memories. All the promises. Gone. Lily whispered, "Can we please talk? Just sit down." "I can't," I said. "If I stay here, I'll break." "Ethan," she cried. "No," I repeated, shaking my head. "I can't look at either of you right now." Mason reached for me again. "Let me explain." There's nothing left to explain. The air felt too thick, too heavy. I couldn't breathe. My vision blurred, and my legs felt weak, but I forced myself to move. I stepped back toward the hallway. Lily's voice cracked behind me. "Please don't go like this." But I couldn't turn around. If I looked back, I'd fall apart right there. I walked out of the apartment, each step heavier than the last. The door clicked shut behind me, but the sound felt like something inside me closing forever. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just felt numb, like my entire world had been ripped open, and I didn't know how to hold the pieces together anymore. I didn't feel like a person anymore. I felt like a shadow trapped inside my own chest, shaking every time my mind replayed that night. I kept whispering, "It didn't happen, it didn't happen," but it sounded like a lie I couldn't swallow. Daniel found me first. I was sitting behind the gym, knees pulled up, trying to control my breathing. He said, "You look like hell. What happened?" I muttered, "Nothing. I'm fine." "Don't lie to me," he said, stepping closer. "You look like you haven't slept." "I haven't," I admitted, pressing my palms to my face. Every time I close my eyes, I hear them. Daniel crouched beside me. "Tell me what you heard." "I don't want to talk about it." "You need to," he insisted. I shook my head. "It hurts. Everything hurts." "Then let me hold some of it," he said quietly. I let out a cracked laugh. "You can't." "Try me." I swallowed hard. I walked in on them. Daniel froze. Lily and Mason. "Yeah." My voice trembled. I heard her crying. I heard him comforting her. I heard everything. Daniel didn't speak for a long moment. Then he muttered, "I swear I'm going to punch him." "Don't," I said weakly. "It won't change anything." "It'll make me feel better," he replied, softer this time. "You don't deserve this." My breath shook. I feel like I'm falling apart. I can't eat. I can't think. I keep hearing them whispering like I never mattered. Daniel sat beside me, shoulder touching mine. "You matter. To me, you do." I didn't know what to say. The silence felt safer than words. Later, when I walked through the hallway, Grace spotted me before I could escape. She said, "Hey, wait. You look worse than last time. Are you okay?" "No," I whispered, my voice breaking. "I'm not." Grace touched my arm gently. "Talk to me." "I can't," I said, shaking. "I don't know how to breathe anymore." She guided me to a quiet corner. "Then breathe here. With me." And I did. I broke down completely, tears dripping onto my hands. Grace murmured, "You're not alone. Even if it feels like it." "It feels like everything is gone," I said. "It's not. You're still here." Her voice felt steady, something warm I didn't expect. When my phone buzzed, I flinched. Lily's name lit up the screen. Grace asked, "Do you want to answer?" "No," I declined immediately. It rang again. And again. Why won't she stop? "Maybe she wants to explain," Grace said gently. "I don't want her explanation. I don't want anything from her." Grace nodded. "You get to choose what hurts you." I wiped my face. "Then I choose nothing." But the universe didn't care. Mason's messages started flooding in next, long paragraphs that twisted my stomach. The first said, "I know you're angry, but you walked in at the worst time." Then, "You were distant first. You pushed us away. Then, I don't know why it bothers me so much that you're ignoring me. Then, maybe you're just guilty too. Every line felt like poison. I read them with shaking hands. Daniel later grabbed my phone. Why are you reading this garbage? I don't know, I whispered. Maybe I want answers. You're not getting answers from him, Daniel snapped. You're only hurting yourself. Then what do? I asked. Let go, he said. You don't have to forgive them. Just stop letting them control you. But I can't stop remembering, I said. Her voice. His voice. The way they looked at me. Daniel placed a hand on my shoulder. You won't forget fast, but you will get stronger. I wanted to believe him. I needed to believe something. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, feeling pieces of myself slipping away. My phone buzzed again, but I didn't move. I turned it face down, pressed my pillow over my head, and whispered, I'm trying to move on. But the memories clung to me like bruises that refused to fade, and I felt myself breaking in ways I didn't know how to fix. I was sitting alone on the campus steps when someone whispered, Ethan, can we talk? I looked up and saw Ava standing there, hugging her bag like she was hiding something inside it. Ava. I asked, why are you here? She glanced around nervously. I need to tell you something, but not here. My chest tightened. If this is about Mason. It is, she cut in. Please, just come with me. I followed her to the old music room behind the auditorium. She shut the door and whispered, You deserve to know the truth. I exhaled slowly. Then say it. Ava hesitated. Mason has always envied you. I blinked. What? You heard me, she said, voice soft but unshaking. You were the golden one. Good grades. Good friends. Good heart. People liked you. They trusted you. He hated it. That's not true, I said automatically. He was my brother. My best friend. Ava shook her head. To you, maybe. But he always compared himself to you. He never told you, but he told me. He told Mom. He told everyone except the one person who should have known. My stomach twisted. Ava, don't do this. Don't turn this into something it wasn't. I'm not turning anything, she snapped. I'm showing you what was always there. I swallowed hard. Why now? Because I saw your face after what happened, she whispered. And I've never seen someone break like that. Even Mason felt guilty. I scoffed. He didn't look guilty. He hid it. He hides everything. Jealousy, anger, fear, all of it. I rubbed my forehead. Jealousy. Over what? What did I ever have that he didn't? Everything, she said. You even had Lily. I winced. Don't say her name. Ava paused, then spoke softer. Lily always felt insecure. She thought she wasn't good enough for you. Her mom made it worse. Mason saw her vulnerability and pushed. I looked at her sharply. Pushed how? He told her things, Ava whispered. Things like Ethan doesn't really love you. Ethan only dates you because you're safe. Ethan's going to leave for college and forget you. He twisted everything. My hands curled into fists. Why would she believe him? Because he made her feel understood, Ava said. He made her believe he was the only one who saw her pain. And then he took advantage of it, I muttered. Ava nodded. He pretended to be her comfort while setting you up as the villain. My chest burned. So their betrayal wasn't some emotional accident. She shook her head slowly. No, it was building for months. I felt heat rising behind my eyes. You're telling me Mason, my brother, planned this? Not in a dramatic way, she said. But he knew what he was doing. He fed her doubts. He fed his own envy. And when the moment came, he didn't stop it. A bitter laugh escaped me. He once told me he'd take a bullet for me. Ava whispered. He didn't take a bullet. He fired one. I pressed my hand over my mouth as my breath shook. Why are you telling me all this? Because I'm tired of watching him ruin everything he touches, she said. And because you need to see who he really is. I stared at the floor. I trusted him with my whole life. I know, she whispered. That's why it hurts. Anger finally rose in my chest, steady, heavy, burning. I whispered. He turned her against me. Yes. He lied to her about me. Yes. And she believed him over me. Ava didn't speak. She didn't need to. I stood slowly. Do they know you came to talk to me? No, she said. And you can't tell them. I won't, I replied. This is between us. Ava watched me carefully. What are you going to do? I took a slow breath. I don't know yet. But for the first time since that night, I don't feel weak. She nodded. Good. Because Mason expects you to disappear. I won't, I said. Not anymore. Ava gave me a sad smile. Then maybe it's finally his turn to be afraid. I walked out of the room feeling something unfamiliar inside me. A spark. A shift. A slow fire waking up after being crushed under grief. For the first time, the pain didn't drown me. It sharpened me. It made me alive. And I knew exactly who deserved the storm forming in my chest. I woke up that morning and told myself, I am done being their victim. No more sleepless nights. No more shrinking in corners. No more pretending the betrayal didn't exist. Grace found me in the library, tucked in a corner like I always did. You're up early, she said. I couldn't sleep, I admitted. Want to talk about it? I shook my head. Not yet. I just want to do something else. She nodded. Then let's do that. We spent the morning reviewing my internship notes. Every time I stumbled over a line, she corrected me gently. You've got this, she'd say, and for the first time in weeks, her voice made the panic inside me shrink a little. I don't know if I can handle this project, I whispered after a long silence. Of course, you can, Grace said. You're capable. You just need to focus. I stared at her, letting the words sink in. She wasn't pushing me, wasn't asking me to forgive or forget. She was just there, listening. Later, I went to see Mr. Green, my internship supervisor. Ethan, he said, smiling. You've been quiet lately. Everything okay? I'm fine, I said, forcing it. I want to take the lead on the Jensen project. He raised an eyebrow. That's a big one. Are you sure? I am, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. I want it. He studied me for a moment, then nodded. You'll get it. I trust you can handle it. The moment I left his office, I felt something flicker inside me, a spark of control, of purpose. Mason had tried to get this project, but now it was mine. And for the first time, I didn't feel like I was chasing someone else's shadow. I spent the next few days immersed in work. I focused on every report, every chart, every minor detail. Grace would sit across from me, letting me talk if I needed to, staying silent if I didn't. Do you ever feel like you're finally free? I asked her one afternoon. From them, she replied gently. Yeah. Freedom doesn't come all at once, she said. But you're taking steps. That counts. I nodded, thinking about the fire Ava had lit in me, the anger that now fueled my focus. Rumors started spreading quietly around campus. I heard fragments in passing, Mason and Lily fighting. Over what? I didn't care. They're arguing again, someone whispered as I walked past the coffee shop. I smiled faintly to myself. Karma doesn't need my help. I just needed to focus on myself. At the library that evening, Grace nudged me. You're smiling, she said. Because I haven't thought about them in hours, I admitted. That's progress, she said softly. I leaned back, watching the sunset through the large windows. The light fell on my notes, my laptop, and for the first time in weeks, it felt like my world was mine again. A notification pinged on my phone. I ignored it. It was Mason. I stared at his name, heart pounding for a second, then locked the screen. No part of me wanted to open that door again. Grace leaned closer. You're stronger than you think. I feel it, I said, finally. I'm not ready to forget everything, but I am ready to live for me. The next week, I got the official notice. I was leading the Jensen project. I practically ran to Mr. Green's office to confirm. You did it, he said. You earned it. Good work. I grinned. Feels good. Feels right. Grace was there when I left, and she said, "See? Step by step." I realized she was right. I didn't need to rush. I just needed to move. Slowly, surely, steadily. Meanwhile, I noticed Mason and Lily everywhere they went together, tense, snapping, eyes not meeting. I didn't interfere. I didn't need to. I just watched, a small smile tugging at my lips. The fire in my chest had shifted. It was no longer anger that consumed me. It was focus, drive, a quiet power that I hadn't felt before. I am done being their victim, I whispered to myself again that night. From now on, I live for me. And for the first time in months, I believed it. I was sitting in the cafeteria when someone nudged me. "Ethan, have you seen the news?" Grace asked. "No. What happened?" She handed me her phone. Mason's project. It collapsed. I stared at the screen, reading the headlines. Project Jensen fails amid careless decisions. Lead intern loses opportunity. I leaned back, letting it sink in. Mason had always tried to get that project, but now it was gone. And it wasn't me who caused it. Is it karma? I whispered. Grace smirked softly. Maybe it's just life catching up. I shook my head, thinking of Lily. I hadn't heard from her in days. Then a classmate came over. Lily's mom is forcing her to break up with Mason. I froze. What? She said it's humiliating the family. She can't be with him anymore. I exhaled slowly. The perfect little world Mason had built was crumbling. Their plans, their smiles, their lies, all burning. Later, I walked past the quad and saw Mason. His expression was sharp, eyes darting, hands clenched. He spotted me and stormed over. "You," he spat. "You ruined everything." I raised an eyebrow. "Excuse me." "You heard me. If you hadn't." "Hadn't what?" I interrupted. "Done nothing. Don't play dumb. Everyone knows you've been scheming behind my back." I laughed softly, a hollow sound. "Scheming? Mason, I've done nothing. Nothing. Ava told me everything." His face twisted. "What? She can't." "She did," I said firmly. "And she's not lying. You let your envy control you. You manipulated Lily. You thought I wouldn't find out, but I already knew the truth before this whole mess." Mason's jaw tightened. "You can't prove anything." "I don't need to prove it." Ava's voice cut through the cafeteria. She stepped forward, eyes blazing. "I saw the texts, Mason. I heard what you said to Lily. You lied to everyone. You thought you could destroy Ethan and get away with it." I felt a strange calm wash over me. Mason opened his mouth, then shut it again. Ava continued, her voice echoing. "You wanted Ethan out of the way so you could have everything. Lily, the project, the praise. But you forgot one thing. You underestimated him." Mason's face went pale. His hand shook. You're lying." "No, Mason," Ava said, pointing at him. "I'm showing everyone the truth." I watched silently as the crowd started murmuring. I didn't need to add a word. The exposure itself was enough. Mason's hands dropped to his sides, trembling. His chest heaved. "No, this isn't happening." I stepped past him. Grace followed. I didn't look back. Mason was shouting, blaming me, denying it all, but Ava's words had already done their work. I could feel it, the power shift. The anger and betrayal that had weighed on me for months now felt lighter. I wasn't seeking revenge. I wasn't trying to hurt anyone. I simply stepped forward and let the truth speak. Lily was nowhere in sight, and I didn't need to see her. Mason's perfect little world had fallen apart on its own. I heard him scream my name, blaming me, but I didn't stop. I didn't reply. I didn't give him another chance to manipulate or guilt me. Somewhere deep inside, a part of me wanted to look back, to see him crumble completely. But I kept walking. Each step felt steady. Each step reminded me that I was no longer the boy who had walked in on betrayal and collapsed under it. I was moving forward. I was taking control. The murmurs grew louder behind me. Ava confirming every lie he had told. Mason's face turned red with frustration, shame, and anger all at once. I felt no gloating, only clarity. The scales had finally tipped. The shadow he had cast over my life for so long had dissolved. Grace placed a hand on my shoulder. "You okay?" "I am," I said, though my voice was calm and quiet. Stronger than it had been in months. "Good," she said, smiling. I didn't need to say anything more. Mason was breaking down, Lily was gone from his side, and the chaos he had caused was his alone to bear. The power shift wasn't just a moment, it was a turning point. And I was finally free. I was sitting on the park bench, staring at the pond, when I saw her. Lily. She froze when she saw me, eyes wide, and then ran a hand through her hair nervously. "Ethan," she whispered. I didn't look at her. I just nodded. "You wanted to see me." She swallowed hard. I had to. I need to apologize. I finally met her eyes. They were red, puffy from crying. My chest tightened. Memories hit me like a wave, walking in on them, hearing their whispers, the betrayal that had nearly broken me. "I hurt you," she said, voice trembling. I didn't know what I was doing. Mason, he made me believe things that weren't true. I took a shaky breath. Do you know how that feels? To have the person you trusted the most manipulate your life. Tears ran down her cheeks. "I know. I'm sorry. I was weak. I should have trusted you. I should have." "You should have done a lot of things," I interrupted softly, my voice low, steady. "But it doesn't change what happened." "I know," she said, sobbing. "Please, can you forgive me?" I looked down at my hands, shaking slightly. "Lily, forgiveness doesn't fix this. You were part of it. I don't hate you, but I can't pretend it didn't happen. I can't go back." She choked on a sob. I understand. I just wanted you to know I'm sorry." "You said that," I whispered. "And that's enough. I don't need you to fix it. I just need to walk forward without being weighed down by what we lost." She nodded, tears still spilling. "I'll always regret it." I swallowed the lump in my throat. We all make mistakes. Some are just too big to undo. She hesitated, looking like she wanted to say more, but the words wouldn't come. I gave her a small nod, signaling it was okay. And then she walked away. I watched her leave, heart still shaking, but not in pain, something else now. Something lighter. Relief. Later that evening, Mason found me outside the campus library. "Ethan, we need to talk," he said, voice tight. I turned slowly, letting him see my expression, calm, detached. "We already talked, Mason. You just didn't like the answers." "I made mistakes. I was wrong. I lost everything because of my pride, and I want you to know I regret it." I raised an eyebrow. "Regret doesn't undo anything. You lost me long before you lost Lily. You lost me the moment you betrayed trust." His jaw tightened. I thought you'd forgive me. I don't think. I don't feel sorry for you. I feel nothing that matters to you. Your guilt won't heal the months you stole from me." He swallowed, looking like the weight of my words crushed him. "Ethan, please." "Stop," I said firmly. "You've said enough. Your apologies don't matter anymore. You can't reach the part of me you destroyed. You already failed." His hands dropped, tremors of shame running through him. I took a slow breath. I've spent too long letting anger control me. I've spent too long letting your lies dictate my life. That's over. He tried to speak again, but I shook my head. "I'm not bitter. I'm stronger now. That's all you'll ever need to know about me." I walked past him, each step steady, deliberate. My chest felt lighter than it had in months. The betrayal, the heartbreak, the sleepless nights, they were still memories, but they no longer controlled me. As I left, I could hear Mason muttering my name, frustration and sorrow tangled together, but I didn't turn back. For the first time, I realized that moving on wasn't about revenge or proving anything. It was about reclaiming myself. Lily's apology and Mason's regret didn't heal the past, and I didn't want them to. They weren't part of my future. I felt the cool night air on my face and inhaled deeply. The panic, the grief, the fire that had burned inside me for months. It was still there, but it had changed. It was no longer destructive. It had become strength. I walked down the quiet street alone, but not lonely. The shadows of betrayal were behind me, and ahead was me. I didn't need anyone else to complete me. I didn't need their remorse or explanations. I only needed myself. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was exactly where I was meant to be. I was free. I was sitting in the coffee shop, nose buried in my notes, when Grace slid into the seat across from me. "You've been here all morning," she said, smiling softly. "I know," I admitted, "but I needed to focus." She nodded. "I can tell. You look lighter than before." I laughed quietly, a sound I hadn't heard in months. Maybe a little. She leaned forward, resting her chin on her hand. "You've changed, Ethan. I can see it. You're stronger." "Stronger?" I asked, raising an eyebrow. "Yes," she said. "Not just the anger or revenge kind. The calm, steady kind. You're finally, you again." I swallowed, feeling a warmth I hadn't expected. "It's not easy." "I know," she whispered. "But you're doing it." We spent the next hour going over my project plans. I had taken the lead on a new internship initiative, something bigger than before, and Mr. Green had given me full support. "Your work is impressive," she said, peering at the charts. "This could get serious recognition." "I hope so," I said, glancing at her. "It feels good to have something of my own to focus on." Grace smiled. "It suits you. You deserve it." Later, I ran into Daniel on campus. "Ethan, I saw your project presentation. You killed it, man," he said, clapping me on the back. "Thanks," I said, a small grin on my face. "I'm proud of you," he added, and I felt a genuine warmth at his words. "You came back from everything. You didn't just survive, you grew." "I guess I did," I said, staring at my hands. "It doesn't feel like revenge was necessary." Daniel shook his head. "You don't need revenge. You already got what mattered, you." I smiled faintly. "It's funny. I thought I needed to fight them to feel alive again. But all I really needed was to rebuild myself." Grace returned as I walked toward the library. "You're quiet," she said, linking her arm with mine. "Just thinking," I replied, "about how far I've come." "You've come a long way," she said softly. "And you didn't even realize it." I looked at her and realized something I hadn't before. Her presence was comforting, steady, and honest. No drama. No manipulation. Just healing. "I like that," I said quietly. "I like feeling normal again." "You are," she said. "Normal, but better." I laughed softly. Better, maybe that's true. Over the next few weeks, we spent more time together, studying, talking, even sharing quiet walks across campus. There was no rush, no pressure, just a gentle connection growing naturally. One evening, Grace said, "You know, Ethan, you're finally letting yourself live again." "I think so," I said. "I used to think happiness meant having control over others, or making them regret things. But now I realize growth itself is enough." Grace smiled, reaching out to touch my hand lightly. "You've earned this peace." I squeezed her hand in return, a warmth spreading through me. It feels right. I don't need revenge. I don't need validation from them. All I need is this, my life, my choices, my future. "And your dreams," she added. "Yes," I said firmly. "I'm finally working on them again." A week later, my project was recognized by the company. I received emails of appreciation, a small award, and a note from Mr. Green. "Well done, Ethan. Your focus and perseverance are inspiring." I walked out of the office with Grace beside me. "See," she said, beaming. "You're unstoppable now." "I feel like I am," I said, smiling genuinely for the first time in months. "I don't need to fight anyone. I don't need to prove anything. This is enough." Grace nudged me playfully. "Good. Because your growth is all the revenge the universe needed." I laughed, shaking my head. I think I finally understand. Life isn't about punishing people. It's about finding yourself after everything else tries to break you. She looked at me, her eyes warm. And you've found yourself. I breathed in the cool evening air, feeling the weight of the past lift from my chest. The betrayal, the heartbreak, the sleepless nights, they were all behind me now. For the first time in a long time, I felt light. And I knew, without a doubt, that I was finally free. I sat on the balcony, the evening breeze brushing against my face, and let myself breathe, enjoying the view. Grace's voice broke my quiet, soft and familiar. I smiled, glancing at her. Yeah, it feels peaceful. She settled beside me, shoulder brushing mine. You've earned this, Ethan. After everything, you finally get to just be. I nodded slowly. It's strange. I used to think betrayal would destroy me completely. I thought I'd never recover from Mason and Lily. Grace turned to look at me, concern in her eyes. You're not broken now, are you? No, I said, shaking my head. I was broken for a while. But now I feel rebuilt. Stronger, calmer, focused. I can finally look back without being haunted. I can see it, she whispered. You've healed. I let out a small laugh. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. I remember everything. Every lie, every whisper, every moment I thought my world had ended. But those moments, they taught me who I am. Grace nudged me gently. And who are you? I looked out at the city lights, thinking, I'm someone who survived. Someone who faced betrayal and chose not to let it define me. Someone who learned that the people who break you are never meant to stay. She smiled, a quiet warmth in her gaze. And that's someone I'm proud to know. I chuckled softly. Funny. I spent months consumed by anger and grief, convinced I needed revenge. But life had its own way of setting things right. And it did, she said, squeezing my hand lightly. I watched them, Mason and Lily, destroy their little world, I admitted. I didn't interfere. I didn't have to. Karma worked quietly, perfectly. And now, they're strangers in my life. Grace tilted her head. Does it hurt? I shook my head. No, not anymore. It's peaceful. Like a chapter that's closed for good. The wounds are still there if I touch them, but they don't bleed anymore. They don't control me. She stayed silent for a moment, just letting the night wrap around us. Then she whispered, and what about the future? I turned to look at her, our eyes meeting. The future feels lighter. I can dream again without fear. I can plan without worrying about shadows lurking behind me. I can focus on myself, and maybe someone I trust and care about deeply. Grace's lips curved into a soft smile. You mean me? I nodded, letting a small, genuine smile escape. Yes. You've been there, quietly, patiently, letting me heal. I didn't realize how much that mattered until now. She laughed softly. I think we've both been patient long enough. I looked at her, the city glowing behind us, and felt a warmth spread through my chest that had nothing to do with revenge, nothing to do with pain. It was calm, content, hopeful. You know, I said, voice low, I used to define myself by what they did to me. But now, I define myself by what I've become. Strong, resilient, free. Grace rested her head lightly on my shoulder. And you are all of those things. I think, I whispered, that's the real victory. Not seeing them hurt, not proving a point, not making them regret anything. The victory is me. Rebuilding myself, reclaiming my life, and finally choosing who I let in. Grace lifted her head to meet my eyes. And you're letting me in. I smiled softly. Yes. You're part of my life now, and it's easy, honest, healing, not forced. That's all I ever wanted. She squeezed my hand, warmth lingering. I'm glad. I leaned back, looking at the stars above. I've learned something important through all of this, I said quietly. The people who break you, the ones who betray you, they're never meant to stay. And that's okay. Because the people who matter, the ones who help you rebuild, they make everything else worth it. Grace rested her head on my shoulder again, quiet and steady. I closed my eyes, letting the cool night air mix with the warmth inside me. For the first time in years, I didn't feel haunted, angry, or empty. I felt whole. I felt peace. I felt healed. And I knew that no matter what came next, I could face it, without fear, without bitterness, and with a heart that finally belonged to me.